my name is Emma, and today I'm giving you guys my bookshelf tour! I am so excited to finally post this video. I have been planning to do it for a very long time. It has taken me a very long time to put together, and I am super excited that it's finally here. Today I'm going to be taking you through a tour of these 3 bookshelves and these 2 shelves. As a few quick notes before I jump in this video, number 1, all of my bookshelves are the Billy bookshelves from Ikea. Number 2, all these Christmas decorations are from Target, and you won't see them in the video because, again, I have been working on this for a very, very long time, but I think they're beautiful. And number 3, because this is a very long bookshelf tour, I'm sure some of you aren't going to want to watch it in completion, and that's fine. I've made it more convenient for you, so I've placed timestamps in the description of this video where similar shelves will be grouped together at different times, and you can just watch the ones you want to watch. And without further ado, here is my updated bookshelf tour. Okay, so we're starting off with my first Harry Potter shelf. This one contains all of my original US hardbacks and a few other trinkets that I absolutely love. So as per usual on my channel, we're gonna go through the little trinkets that are on my shelves first. This is a little figure of Hedwig that I got in a Geek Gear unboxing that I did a few months ago, and I just really like it. It's soft plastic, but I think it really adds to the shelf. This is my time turner that I got at the Harry Potter pop-up exhibit in New York City quite a few years ago, way before I even started my booktube channel. It was cool to just walk through the museum and see all the different costumes and props and stuff, and I of course stopped at the gift shop and had to pick this up. I have quite a few Harry Potter Funko Pops, but this is the Hedwig Mystery Mini, and then I have Harry in his Quidditch robes and Ron in his Weasley sweater. This is the only Harry Potter wand I own. It is Ginny Weasley's wand, and I got it when I was in like 2nd or 1st grade because I was Ginny Weasley for Halloween. This is my Hogwarts Express train ticket. I got this when I bought my Slytherin robes. It came with a pack of a bunch of different little paper Harry Potter paraphernalia, and I loved it. Then I have the Harry Potter Complete 8-film collection. Even though I don't technically have a DVD drive anymore, I'm glad that I do have the physical movies. These are a set of Hogwarts playing cards. I don't remember if I got these in Accio box or in Geek Gear, but they are house playing cards, so you have one set of Hufflepuff, Slytherin, Gryffindor, and Ravenclaw. This is a set of coasters that are Hogwarts house themed that I got from Geek Gear. I'm a slob and I never remember to use coasters, so I just like to keep these on my shelf. This is a flask that says Felix Felicis on it, which is liquid luck, and this was a birthday gift from Monica from She Might Be Monica. I believe she got it off of Etsy. And then this is the other item I got at the Harry Potter pop-up exhibit in New York City, along with my time turner. This is Luna Lovegood's jewelry set. So it has her radish earrings, her butterbeer cork necklace, and a beetle ring. Finally, up on the wall, because I don't want to take it down, is a print that I got from Owl Crate. I believe the artist is Tarasha, which is one of my favorite bookish artists, and it is of Ron, Hermione, and Harry in class, and I just love it so much. I don't think I'll ever remove it from my shelves because it's too pretty. So this book is Harry Potter Film Wizardry, and it's about a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff on the Harry Potter films. I actually got this at an event at Barnes & Noble because they had a 15% off coupon, and it was for the release of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, so I got to meet a lot of local Harry Potter heads, and it was really wonderful. So I'm not going to show you all of the covers. You guys know what they look like, but the reason that I do have 2 copies of Deathly Hallows is because I went on release day and I got it at midnight, and then I worked my Harry Potter day at my local library, and I ended up winning a 2nd copy. And then with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, again, I went to the midnight release of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at Books & Wonder. It was a really cool Harry Potter party, and I loved it. And then the second one I was sent by Scholastic, which was a really wonderful gift, so I like to just keep them all together. So that's it for my first Harry Potter shelf. I definitely think this one is my favorite as of now, just because it's so classic HP, and a lot of these items are ones that I've had for so many years. So this is my second Harry Potter shelf. It does have a few little trinkets, but it also has some exciting additions that I love. These are my makeshift Harry Potter glasses. They are literally just hippie glasses that I got at Party City and popped the lens out of because I needed them for a skit. This is a chocolate frog box that I got at the Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studio Tour in London. There is actually a chocolate frog in it, but I went like 4 years ago, and I don't think the chocolate is very good anymore, but I do still keep it on my shelf because it's just so pretty. I do have 2 chocolate frog cards. I have Salazar Slytherin and Albus Dumbledore, and I would love to collect more in the future. Then I have this Gryffindor inspired print from Accio box that says, "You might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart. Their daring nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart." I believe this is the original hardback for the Tales of Beedle the Bard. And then these are the most recent editions of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Details of Beedle the Bard, and Quidditch Throughout the Ages. These are my French editions of Harry Potter. I picked all of these up at the Strand bookstore in New York City because they have an international section. I am missing Prisoner of Azkaban, but I recently did a trade and I'm waiting for it to come in, which I'm super grateful for. So thanks so much to Celine for trading with me and completing this amazing set of French books. I actually have read the first book, Sorcerer's Stone, in French in high school, and I definitely want to complete the entire series in French in the future. Over here is the UK paperback editions of the Harry Potter series. I'm not going to take all of these out. It's such a pain, but of course I love these spines that make up Hogwarts Castle, and the artwork on the covers of these books is just phenomenal. And then I have the 3 current illustrated editions of Harry Potter, which I'm going to show you one at a time because they're way too big. So this is Sorcerer's Stone, this is Chamber of Secrets, and this is the most recent one, Prisoner of Azkaban. So that concludes my second Harry Potter shelf. So this is my final Harry Potter shelf for now. It's definitely more sparse than the others because I'm trying to save room for when I do get more Harry Potter books, because you know what's gonna happen. This is where I keep most of my original Harry Potter Funko Pops. I like to have all of the ones that are in robes together. So I have Draco, Harry, Ron, Voldemort, and Sirius. Next I have my Hogwarts letter to Harry, which came in the same set with my Slytherin robes. It has like the Hogwarts seal on the back, and it has the Hogwarts acceptance letter as well as the school supplies. So this case of the Marauder's Map is actually for my Kindle. I don't use my Kindle very frequently, so because it has this beautiful Harry Potter case that I got at Hot Topic on it, I like to keep it on this shelf so it is still accessible for me and totally fits the theme. So this is a paddle I got at the Muggle Mob for the release of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. They did like this Harry Potter-esque flash mob outside of the Scholastic office, and I got to film a video of it for my channel, so I definitely recommend checking it out. So this is just a cool little Harry Potter memorabilia from a very awesome exclusive event that I went to. This is a print that I believe I also got from Owl Crate. I just love the Owl Crate Harry Potter prints. Unfortunately, I do not remember the exact artist of this, but this is probably one of my favorite prints that I own, and I just love it so much. For books on the shelf, I have 2 copies of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the Gryffindor and Slytherin house editions. They have the painted pages with the house colors, and I definitely plan on getting Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw in the future to just have the full set. Also, I have this little itty bitty Newt Scamander Funko Pop that I believe I might have also gotten in Owl Crate, but I just kind of hide him because he can't stand up on his own. Yet again, I have 2 copies of a Harry Potter book. This is the Fantastic Beasts screenplay. I don't know why I actually have 2 copies of these. I think I might have bought one myself and then I was sent one by Scholastic. I just feel like it's a really interesting tradition that I tend to get each new Harry Potter installment in 2 editions. So I have another copy of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I believe this is the 10th anniversary edition. I honestly had no idea that this existed until I was at the midnight release for The Cursed Child, and I saw it and I just had to get it. Especially when you take the dust jacket off, there's absolutely no way I couldn't have this with my collection. Then I have some random large printings of Harry Potter. I have the Harry Potter coloring book. I have a preview of the Prisoner of Azkaban illustrated edition that I got at BookCon, and then finally I have the Making of Harry Potter Warner Bros. Studio London, the official guide. So that is from when I went to London, and it basically has like all the information you need about the studio tour. And so that concludes my last Harry Potter shelf. This one, again, totally under construction, but I cannot wait to add to more of it in the future. So of course we made it to my Shadowhunter shelves. Now I am not going to go super in depth on all of the different editions and trinkets that I have because I have a very recent Shadowhunter Shelves tour where I go into each individual item and edition and tell you where I got them and all of the special stuff that they have. You can totally watch that video and I will link it below, but just for the sake of time, we're gonna go through these a little bit quickly. But this is of course Isabel Lightwood's ruby necklace that I got off of eBay, and then this is the Morgenstern ring from the City of Bones movie merch collection, and I got this on Amazon. This is Isabel Lightwood's with bracelet. I got this off of eBay. So this is a super cool and unique new item that I have. This is a Jace Wayland original Funko Pop that was designed one of a kind for me by Miranda from Y'all Fest this year. So thank you so much to Miranda for gifting it to me. I absolutely love having this on my shelf. This is a Shadowhunter rune candle I was gifted for Christmas a few years ago. I don't know exactly where the person got it, but I believe it is on Etsy, and it just has all of the different runes that were made at the time. This is the Shadowhunter deck of tarot cards that I got at topatco.com. There is so much beauty in this little pouch, but I don't feel like opening it, so you should definitely watch my Shadowhunter Shelves tour if you want to take a closer look. These are actually the original UK covers of City of Bones and City of Ashes. These are the most recent UK paperbacks of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. This is the movie tie-in edition of City of Bones. This is a one-of-a-kind defaced edition of City of Lost Souls, which is my favorite book, from Jenna Claire K here on YouTube. Basically, she went through the entire book and put in these cute little collages and little notes and drawings that I absolutely love. It was such a cool, unique birthday gift. So thanks so much, Jenna. So these are two different editions of An Illustrated History of Notable Shadowhunters and Denizens of Downworld. This one is the original one that I pre-ordered off of Topatco.com when it was first released, and I believe that this is the UK edition. There's literally no difference between them. They have the same character profiles and photos inside. This is the 10th anniversary edition of City of Bones, which just came out this past November. I love this cover so much. It has some really beautiful fan art on the inside covers. It's got the gilded edges, and it is just so pretty. I'm so happy that I have this. I think at this point you all have seen the US hardbacks of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. These are the original covers. This is the Barnes & Noble Collector's edition of City of Bones. This is another City of Bones movie tie-in. This one is exclusive to Walmart. This is the City of Bones TV show tie-in edition. This is my DVD of the City of Bones movie. This is the City of Bones graphic novel, which also just came out this past November. And then these are the new US paperback editions of the Mortal Instruments with the mural on the spine. So that concludes my Mortal Instruments shelf. I think it will always be my favorite because, of course, Mortal Instruments is my favorite series. So now we're moving on to what is primarily my Infernal Devices shelf, but I also have some foreign editions of City of Bones on here as well. This is Jace's Steel on a keychain, but the keychain fell off, so now I just keep it on my shelf. This is a candle I got in my very first ever fairy loot box. It just has this giant angelic rune on it and a couple of different runes on the side. This is an angelic rune with wings necklace that I got for my birthday a few years ago. And then this is my replica Mortal Cup. I made this myself out of clay in high school, and I know it's gonna break someday, and I'm gonna cry when it does because it is just the perfect addition to my Shadowhunter shelves. Inside of my Mortal Cup is where I keep these pins that I got at BookCon 2017. They have the Angelic Rune, the Antidote Rune, and the Heavenly Fire Rune. So this is the first set of foreign editions that I have of City of Bones. A few of them are on my last Shadowhunter shelf, but this is the Italian edition. This is the French edition. This is the German movie tie-in edition. Both of these are the German hardcover editions. This is the Swedish edition. And then these are both full trilogies in Italian. I absolutely love all of my foreign editions of City of Bones, and in the Shadowhunter Shelves tour, I do thank all of my international viewers who have sent me these copies and have allowed me to continue my collection. You guys know how thankful I am for these. I say it constantly, and it just makes me so happy to know that I'm able to reach out with many Shadowhunter fans across the world and add to my collection, so I really appreciate you guys. These are, of course, the original US hardback editions of the Infernal Devices series. Then I have the German paperback edition of Clockwork Princess in German, so I started all of my other international collections as well. These are the new US paperbacks of the Infernal Devices series that match the Mortal Instruments ones. I'm not going to take them out of the box because it is such a pain to put back in, but we can appreciate the gorgeous artwork of Jem, Tessa, and Will on these spines. These are the Manhwa editions of the Infernal Devices. I have the Bane Chronicles and Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, which are the two novella bind-ups for the Shadowhunter Chronicles. And so then closing out this past shelf, I have two copies of the Shadowhunter Codex. One is signed by Cassandra Clare, one is my original edition, and of course the official Mortal Instruments coloring book that I did color in for a video on my channel, so be sure to check that out. So that concludes my Infernal Devices and the start to my international editions of City of Bones. I hate the fact that there is literally no more room on my Mortal Instruments or Infernal Devices shelf, so I'm gonna have to expand to 4 very soon. And now we get to my final Shadowhunter shelves, which is inspired by the Dark Artifices. So this is a set of postcards featuring characters from the Dark Artifices series. I got these at BookCon 2017 and I love them so much. I will treasure them forever. This is the box that my arc of Lady Midnight came in. It came with a few cool items that I will show you in a minute. I do keep a few things inside. This is the box of City of Bones mini merch that you can get on Amazon or Barnes & Nobles that still have it and whatnot. This is where I get my Mortal Instruments necklaces that you see in all of my videos. Then I have a bunch of different rune tattoos that I use for skits for the Binobilathon and whatnot. They're all in different sizes from all different places. This is the lottery ticket and the key and keychain that came in this box with the Arc of Lady Midnight. And then also in the box came the Shadowhunter's Guide to Los Angeles, which is a map of all of the different locations in the Dark Artifices series. For books, these are the US hardback editions of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows. These are the Waterstones limited editions of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows. These books have special content. They're signed by Cassie Clare, and only 1,000 of each are printed, so you definitely need to pre-order them if you want to to have a chance at getting them because they are impossible to find once they're out of stock. Then I have my advanced reader copies of Lady Midnight, Lord of Shadows, and Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. I will treasure these for the rest of my life. Keeping the theme of international editions, this is Lady Midnight in German. I also got this at the Strand with my Harry Potter books in French. I have a few more international editions of City of Bones just hanging over here because they don't fit on the other shelf. This is it in Russian. This is City of Bones in Finnish. And then each of these little books is half of City of Bones in Japanese. And then closing out my Dark Artifices shelf, I have these 2 exclusive sneak peek chapter samplers of Lady Midnight and Lord of Shadows. So yeah, in conclusion, I have 68 books that are exclusively part of the Shadowhunter Chronicles, and I love my collection more than anything. It's probably my most treasured possession. So this is my contemporary mental health shelf. Each book on the shelf includes some sort of representation for mental illness, and I just love it so much. It's one of my favorites. So I have 2 of Laurie Halse Anderson's books. The Impossible Knife of Memory deals with a girl whose dad has PTSD, and Speak deals with sexual assault. It's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini, is about depression. Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley and Under Rose-Tainted Skies by Louise Garnell. Both of these books feature agoraphobia, and Under Rose-Tainted Skies also has representation for OCD and anxiety. I'm trying to group these together by the type of representation that they have to make this go quicker. So I have Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, Definitions of Indefinable Things by Whitney Taylor. I believe all of these deal with depression. Girl in Pieces definitely deals with self-harm. All the Right Places also has bipolar representation. Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert, A Tragic Kind of Wonderful by Eric Lindstrom, and When We Collided by Emery Lord. All 3 of these deal with bipolar disorder. Then I have The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I cannot remember for sure, but I believe this book does have an underlying theme of PTSD and or sexual assault or abuse. I have 2 editions of 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. The second one is the Netflix TV tie-in, and Stronger Than You Know by Jolene Perry, and all of these deal with sexual assault. I have Words on Bathroom Walls by Julia Walton, which deals with schizophrenia. For this set, I have Girl Against the Universe by Paula Stokes, This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales, Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I have 2 copies of Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. The second one is the Owl Crate exclusive edition. I have Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella and A List of Cages by Robin Rowe, and all of these books deal with some form of anxiety, whether it is super explicit or not, and I know Girl Against the Universe also deals with panic attacks. So then all of these books deal with obsessive compulsive disorder. I have I Hate Everyone But You by Gabby Dunn and Allison Raskin, Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone, 4 Weeks, 5 People by Jennifer Yu, and The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I Hate Everyone But You also has anxiety rep. Every Last Word is purely obsessional OCD. 4 Weeks, 5 People definitely also has a character with an eating disorder and potentially some other mental illnesses that I am not aware of as I haven't read it. And The Rest of Us Just Live Here also have a side character that has an eating disorder. And closing out my mental health shelf, I have my eating disorder books. So that includes What I Lost by Alexandra Ballard, Winter Girls by Laurie Halse Anderson, Paperweight by Meg Haston, Not Otherwise Specified by Hannah Moskowitz, and Sad Perfect by Stephanie Elliott. What I Lost and Winter Girls feature representation for anorexia. Paperweight deals with bulimia. Not Otherwise Specified contains representation for eating disorder not otherwise specified, and Sad Perfect has representation for avoidant restrictive food intake disorder or ARFID. So that concludes my mental health shelf. Most of you know that these books are very important to me and I love all of them so much, so I love having a shelf just dedicated to a theme that I love seeing expressed in books. So this shelf is my books featuring main characters who identify as a part of the LGBTQ community. I thought it would be really cute to make it in the form of a rainbow to support the LGBT flag, and I really like how this shelf is coming along. So I have The Love Interest by Cale Dietrich, Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, 7 Ways We Lie by Riley Redgate, 10 Things I Can See From Here by Carrie Mack, More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, Every Day by David Levithan. I have the paperback edition of More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera, and also the UK paperback edition of History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera, Call Me By Your Name by Andrea Seaman, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This is the Owl Crate exclusive cover. The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera and They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy, Autobiography by Christina Lauren, How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake, Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour, Queens of Geek by Jen Wild, Tosh Hearts Tolstoy by Catherine Ormsby, If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo, and Release by Patrick Ness. So I love my LGBT Reads shelf. I think it's very striking color-wise, and I just love being able to display all of these amazing stories together. Alrighty, so this is the start to my urban fantasy shelf. I have quite a few fantasy shelves. I definitely own the most fantasy books out of anything else. The Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan, the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan, Percy Jackson and the Olympian series by Rick Riordan, and then closing out my current Rick Riordan collection, I have the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series. Because You Love to Hate Me, 13 Tales of Villainy, edited by Amory. This is the villain anthology with YA authors and booktubers. I have 3 out of the 4 books of the Magisterium series by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare, the Iron Trial, the Copper Gauntlet, and the Silver Mask. I am missing the Bronze Key because I was at a signing for Cassie and Holly, and I did not want to buy the 3rd book in paperback because they were out of hardcover, so I will get it eventually. Then I have the Monsters of Verity duology, This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet, both by Victoria Schwab. And then finally for the shelf, I have the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. So that's it for this urban fantasy shelf. I love it. I think it is just so colorful and fun, and it has some of my absolute favorites. So this is my first high fantasy shelf. When it comes to any of the genre shelves, there's really not a huge organization process. I just sort of like to keep certain authors together and I just go from there. Though I do really like the color palette of this. I think they work really well together. So first up is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. These are the UK paperback editions of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. And then I have the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas. I have Truth Witch and Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I have 2 copies. The black one is the original edition and the white is the Owl Crate exclusive edition. And then I have the A Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. So that's it for this high fantasy shelf. I know that there's not a lot of books on them, but honestly it's because they're all so big that it looks way more stuff than it is. So this is my second high fantasy shelf, starting off with Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. This is the Fairy Loot exclusive edition. The Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. The Wrath in the Dawn, The Rose and the Dagger, and Flame in the Mist, all by Renee Authier. Furthermore by Tahara Mafi. Of Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. And the Six of Crows duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. And I Darken by Kirsten White. Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. An Ember in the Ashes and A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir. The Star-Touched Queen by Roshni Chbosky. The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. Then I have 2 copies of Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The one on the left is the UK hardcover and the one on the right is the US hardcover. Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows. The Winter's Trilogy by Marie Rutkowski. Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This is the UK hardcover. And Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This is also the UK hardcover. So that concludes this high fantasy shelf. So this is another urban fantasy shelf. It's like 95% vampires, which is always fun. The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. The Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer. So a few months ago, I was going through like some old photo albums and I ended up finding these Twilight photo cards from the first movie, and I just thought they were so funny and nostalgic that I had to keep them on my shelf. And then I have the 10th anniversary of Twilight, which includes Life and Death Twilight Reimagined by Stephanie Meyer. Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. The Hex Hall series by Rachel Hawkins. The Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. Then I have the Chronicles of Vladimir Todd series by Zach Brewer. The Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead. A Shadow Brightened Burning by Jessica Cluess. Roar by Cora Carmack, Roseblood by A.G. Howard, Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popavrik, Graceling by Kristen Kishore, and Winterspell by Claire Legrand. Yes, that light went out while filming. It's the second one to happen during this bookshelf tour. I guess all of the motion disrupts my shitty Target lights. So that concludes this urban fantasy shelf. Alright, so this is my main science fiction shelf. It has a lot of my favorites, or the ones that I'm hoping to read soon. So first is the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer, the Illuminae File series, Illuminae and Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, Alienated, Invaded, and Starlight by Melissa Landers, The Taking and The Replaced by Kimberly Durding. These are one of the many paperback editions of the Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And then I have the bind-up of the Lux series, Lux Beginnings and Lux Consequences. Again, these are only the first 4 books. I still don't have the last book. I have no idea when I'm going to get it. Warcross by Marie Lu, Even the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett, Replica by Lauren Oliver, The Diabolic and the Empress by S.J. Kincaid, Armada by Ernest Cline, The Host by Stephanie Meyer, This Mortal Coil by Emily Suveda, and finally Empress of a Thousand Skies by Rhoda Beleza. So that is it for the first science fiction shelf. So this is my dystopian favorite shelf. The only books on the shelf that I have not read yet are the Ugly series, though I know I'm going to love them when I do read them. So I try to keep all of these together, and this is one of the shelves that has really only grown. I haven't really changed the organization of it very much, just tried to fit them all on the same shelf. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, The Testing Trilogy by Joelle Charbonneau, Elusive and Deceptive by Emily Lloyd-Jones, The Darkest Mind series by Alexandra Bracken, The Shatter Me series by Tahara Mafi, some of the books of the Program series by Suzanne Young. I of course have the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, the Divergent series by Veronica Roth, the Selection series by Kiera Cass. Next I have the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld. So that's it for my main dystopian shelf. I've always liked this one, like I said, because it never really changes. It's the way that it pretty much is from my very first small tiny 3-shelf bookshelf, and it just has a lot of sentimental value to me. So this is my current diverse reads shelf. I used to have this combined with my LGBT reads shelf, but both of them just got way too big for everything to fit on the same, and I wanted to keep them together. So this is my current diverse books shelf. To start, this is an acrylic block that I got at redbubble.com that says drink tea and read books. So I have Everything Everything and The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon, To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, This Is Where It Ends by Marieke Nijkamp, The Stars Beneath Our Feet by David Barclay Moore, Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, Tiny Pretty Things and Shiny Broken Pieces, both by Sonia Sherry Portra and Danielle Clayton, Something in Between by Melissa De La Cruz, Does My Head Look Big in This by Rhonda Abdel Fattah, Girl Out of Water by Laura Silverman, Your Welcome Universe by Whitney Gardner, Not If I See You First by Eric Lindstrom, and Things I Should Have Known by Cleola Zebnik. I do want to clarify that with this diverse reads shelf and my LGBT shelf and my mental health shelf, all of those are grouped together because they are YA contemporaries. Obviously, diverse books are not an individual genre. Diverse characters and stories exist across all genres, so if there is a diverse book that's fantasy or sci-fi, I keep those with the other books, but I really like highlighting these together just because they have such important stories to tell, and I also think that contemporary covers look really good together, so that's why they're grouped that way. Alright, so we are on the bottom row for my main 3 bookshelves. I actually only have 2 of them filled on this row because I use the other one for things like when I get new books, I keep all of them there for my book haul of the month, or when I get subscription boxes, I keep them there. So I kind of use it as storage. I like to keep it open though because I'm eventually going to expand these arcs into that shelf as well when I get more. Additionally, all of these arcs are fairly recent. This shelf starts in September 2017. All of my other arcs are on the bottom rows of my first 2 bookshelves because I like to keep them sorted by publication date. Moxie by Jennifer Matu, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, Warcross by Marie Lu, Jane Unlimited by Kristen Kishore, I Hate Everyone But You by Gabby Dunn and Allison Raskin, Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, They're All Falling, but Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow, 27 Hours by Tristina Wright, This Is What I Get for Having a Shelf of Only Paperbacks but Dear Martin by Nick Stone, All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, Retribution Rails by Erin Bauman, Cat and Meg Conquer the World by Anna Primoza, Witchwood by Tahara Mafi. Moving into 2018 releases, we have Zenith by Sasha Ellsberg and Lindsay Cummings, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, Before I Let Go by Marieke Nijkamp, Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samira Ahmed, Nice Try Jane Sinner by Leanne Olke, Meet Cute, which is a romance anthology by a bunch of famous YA contemporary authors, The Bells by Danielle Clayton, Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. So that is it for my most recent arcs, and we will definitely be delving into some older releases for my second set of shelves. And finally, closing out my main set of shelves, I have this Paranormal YA shelf. I used to keep these with all of my urban fantasy books, but I feel like they just fit better together. This will eventually be an arc shelf, probably by like 2019, but I'm really happy with the way that they are organized right now. To start off, I have The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken, The Archived and the Unbound by Victoria Schwab, The Diviner series by Libba Bray, The Mara Dyer series by Michelle Hodkin, The Raven Cycle series by Maggie Stiefvater, The Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire. I have the first 2 books in the Miss Peregrine series, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children and Hollow City, as well as Tales of the Peculiar, all by Ransom Riggs, Unearthly Things by Michelle Gagnon, Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake, and The Hearts We Sold by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This is the Owl Crate exclusive cover. And with that Paranormal YA shelf, that concludes my main 3 bookshelves. So this shelf is quite random. There's absolutely no order to why these books are together. I just don't have anywhere else to put them. On the top and over here, I just have a couple of different chapter samplers like The Glittering Court, Language of Thorns, Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, as well as 2 different volumes of comics. This is Sex Criminals, Volume 3, and Paper Girls. I believe this is Volume 6 because I got both of them in a subscription service. Starting with the books, I have Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, Horror Store by Grady Hendrix, The Muse by Jessie Burton. The only reason that this book is up here is because it used to be grouped with my random shelf before it had an adult shelf, and then I ended up making an adult shelf and now there's no room on it. So it all eventually moved to the adult shelf. I have a few memoirs and stuff. This is Binge by Tyler Oakley, Unfiltered by Lily Collins, Everything I Learned About Life I Learned in Dance Class by Abby Lee Miller, I Hate My Selfie by Shane Dawson, A Work in Progress by Connor Franta, and then I have the first 4 volumes of Death Note in the Black Edition. So most of these books are kind of just like novelty books. The Fangirl's Guide to the Galaxy by Sam Maggs, Charles_HRH's Guide to Great Britishness, The Official Quotable Doctor Who Wise Words from Across Space and Time by Kevin Scott and Mark Wright, How to Think Like Sherlock by Dan Smith, The Only Good Dalek by Justin Richards and Mike Collins. Now, this is a very tough book for me to show you. I bought this at Barnes & Noble quite a few years ago, and essentially, when you unfurl it, this list doesn't make any sense. It's basically the entire, landscape of London all along, this huge book, which I thought was really cool. So I'm sorry if you can't see it very well. The Percy Jackson official coloring book. I have to also hold this one. This is Percy Jackson's Greek Gods. And this is The Art of Miss Peregrines, which is very similar to the film Wizardry book that I showed you on my Harry Potter shelf. But that's really it for my very random shelf. Maybe one day these will all fit into more specific shelves, but for now they're just here. So this shelf is surprisingly sentimental for me. It's something I only recently added, and that is because these are all of my childhood books. Back when my mom and I moved into this apartment in 2015, we had a 3-month-long fight because I thought she had sold all of my childhood books at a garage sale that we had, and I thought I had lost all of these forever, but we were going through our crawl space and we ended up finding all of them. So I of course had to display them on my shelf. So this is not my entire huge collection I had as a child, but these are the ones that were the most important to me. Also, yes, the lights don't go the entire length of this shelf, but who cares? Chasing Redbird by Sharon Creech. Then I have books 1 through 11 of the Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. The reason I only have up to 11 is because I bought all of these individually at the Scholastic Book Fair in elementary school, and I'm pretty sure the last 1 or 2 that came out after elementary school when I didn't have the Scholastic Book Fair to get books from anymore. So I ended up never finishing the series and I don't have the rest of them, but I definitely want to get the last ones at some point in the future. Then I have The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick, The Tale of Emily Winsnap by Liz Kessler, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This actually isn't a classic edition that I have from my childhood. I got this in one of the Owl Crate boxes, but it is still one of my favorite childhood stories, so I keep it on the shelf. Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. You can tell that this is my copy from 6th grade because I outlined absolutely everything because that's just kind of the thing I was into. Nobody Has to Know by Frank Knappy, who was actually one of my high school English teachers, and he is a published author, and I absolutely loved this book when I read it back in high school, so I of course kept it. And then I of course have the Midnight Beasts book at us now because I've been obsessed with them for 7 years. So my absolute favorite find from going through a crawl space was my original editions of Harry Potter. These were the first ones that I ever had. I don't know why Chamber of Secrets is missing, and I do actually have a second copy of Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm pretty sure this was the first one I read, but it is water damaged, so it wouldn't stand up on its own. But yes, as you can tell, particularly with Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix, which doesn't even have a cover anymore, this is a makeshift piece of cardboard to hold it together. They have been loved so well, and I'm extremely happy that I was able to find them. So that concludes my children's books shelf. These are definitely not every single book I read and loved as a child. I had my own little library back then, but these are the ones that are very special to me, so I'm super glad I still have them. Okay, so this is basically my adult thriller shelf. I am so surprised with how many I have gained over the last few months, but I do also have a few nonfiction and serial killer related books over there. The Child by Fiona Barton, Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinsborough, The Possessions by Sarah Flannery Murphy, Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker, The Blinds by Adam Sternberg, Bonfire by Kristen Ritter, Final Girls by Riley Seeger, Fierce Kingdom by Jen Phillips,
Night Film by Marisha Pessel, The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, Under a Watchful Eye by Adam Neville, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, Into the Water by Paula Hawkins, The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, In a Dark Dark Wood by Ruth Ware, A Stranger in the House by Shari LaPena, Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughn. This is actually an advanced reader copy and so is A Stranger in Your House, but I decided that I wanted to keep them with the rest of my adult thrillers because my ARC shelves are like specifically for YA and whatnot. Then I have the three main Gillian Flynn books, Gone Girl, Dark Places, and Sharp Objects. The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling, My Friend Dahmer by Durf Backdurf, Manson in His Own Words as told to Newell Emmons, Helter Skelter, The True Story of the Manson Murders by Vincent Bugliosi and Kurt Gentry, Manson, The Life and Times of Charles Manson by Jeff Ginn, and The Girls by Emma Cline, which is not a mystery thriller, it's actually just fiction, but I keep it together with the rest of my Manson books because it feels weird not having them together. So that's it for my thriller shelf. There's really no true organization to it. I try and keep the book of the month books together because it's one theme connecting them. I try to keep authors together in certain themes like true crime and whatnot. But I'm really happy with the way this is coming out because I'm so into mystery thrillers at the moment. So next to the adult mystery thrillers, I have my YA thrillers and related creepy books. The Amateurs and Follow Me by Sarah Shepard, To Catch a Killer by Cheryl Scarborough, One of Us is Lying by Carrick McManus, A Study in Charlotte and The Last of August by Brittany Calavaro. Then I have the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, The Naturals, Killer Instinct, All In, and Bad Blood. The reason Bad Blood wasn't actually on the shelf is because I bought it this month and I keep all of the books that I bought within a month together so I don't forget any for my haul. But in a few weeks it will be on the shelf permanently. The Silence of Six by E.C. Myers, The Masked Truth by Kelly Armstrong, Far From You by Tess Sharp, Bassett in the Night by Sarah Porter, Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart, The Merciless by Danielle Vega, Hotel Ruby by Suzanne Young, Vengeance Road and Retribution Rails by Erin Bauman, The Creeping by Alexandra Sirawi, 100 Hours of Night by Anna Woltz, The Haunting of Sunshine Girl by Paige McKenzie. I have two Barnes & Noble classics, The Complete Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe and The Complete Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And then finally I have this edition of Sleepy Hollow and Other Short Stories by Washington Irving, which I got in an Owl Crate unboxing. So clearly not everything on here is strictly a mystery thriller, nor is it strictly YA, but I do just keep these together because I feel like they have some common themes and whatnot. So this is the start to my other contemporary shelves. These are really just the ones that don't either fit on my mental health shelf or the LGBT shelf or the diverse contemporary shelves, but nonetheless I still love all of them. Starting off, I have the Anna and the French Kiss series by Stephanie Perkins. I have the US and UK covers of Moxie by Jennifer Mathieu. Then I have the rest of Jennifer Mathieu's books, Devoted, Afterward, and The Truth About Alice. I have a couple of Morgan Matson books, The Unexpected Everything, Since You've Been Gone, and Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This is the Barnes & Noble Collector's Edition. The only reason I got the Collector's Edition is just because I liked the blue background. I have two copies of A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is the movie cover, and then that is the illustrated edition. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Clicked by Tamara Ireland Stone. And then I have my John Green collection. I have two copies of The Fault in Our Stars. This one is the movie edition. I have Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherine, Paper Towns, and Will Grayson, which is co-written by David Levithan. So that's it for the first strictly contemporary shelf I have. So moving over here, I have my second contemporary shelf. I do want to make a note because I know I'm going to get comments about it. Yes, this shelf is facing the wrong way. Doug and I put it on backwards. I will paint it someday. I'm just way too lazy. The only reason this shelf is separated from the other shelf is because there's too many books for them to fully fit on one, so I kind of divided them equally among both. But the first thing on this shelf is my book bow, which is a book sleeve I got from an Owl Crate unboxing, and I frequently use it to carry around my books in my bag. I have a few Courtney Summers books, Some Girls Are True, Cracked Up to Be, and All the Rage. I do know that some of these deal with mental health themes, but they're here for the moment until I can better research them and put them on my mental health shelf. What to Say Next by Julie Buxbaum. Now, I'm sure some of you have noticed that every once in a while you'll see a spine on a shelf, but you won't see the cover on that shelf, and that's because I'm realizing that they fit better on other shelves. So this one actually belongs on my diverse read shelf, so I'm gonna go move it over there. Never Always Sometimes by Addie Alced, But Then I Came Back by Estelle Lohr, After Party by Anne Resdist Sampler, American Girls by Allison Uminger, Girl Online by Zoe Sugg, Extraordinary Means by Robin Schneider, The Takedown by Corey Wang, Royce Rolls by Margaret Stoll, A Map for Wrecked Girls by Jessica Taylor, Just One Day by Gail Foreman, The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia, Kill the Boy Band by Goldie Molofsky, If I Stay and Where She Went by Gail Foreman, and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. So that really concludes the contemporary shelves. This is clearly a very empty shelf, as I'm sure you can tell by this entire case that there's a lot of spare space, and that's because these are basically just the books that don't fit in on my main shelves. This is really just a temporary book of the month club shelf. I just like having them together because I think they look really pretty because they all have really nice covers. But these are really the ones that just sort of don't fit into either the thriller shelf or a different shelf and whatnot. Over here I do have two little pouches. This one I got from Redbubble, and it essentially has all of my convention passes in it, and I think it's a really convenient way to store them nicely on my shelf. And then this accordion file is actually all of my bookmarks. I keep them in this accordion folder because, again, it's just convenient and organized, and it works out really well for me. As for books, I have A Million Junes by Emily Henry, White Fur by Jardine LeBaire, Lies She Told by Kate Holhan, Dead Letters by Katie Dolan Leach, Woman Number 10 by Eden Lepucki, Chemistry by Wei Wang, The Animators by Kayla Ray Whittaker, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. I actually don't know if this book is One Day We'll All Be Dead and None of This Will Matter, or One Day This Will Matter. Either way, it's by Sachi Cool, Since We Fell by Dennis Lehane, American War by Omar El-Aked, and Startup by Dory Sheffrier. So that really concludes this. I guess it's considered a book of the month shelf. I'm sure a lot of these could probably fit into other shelves and whatnot, but for now they're just chilling here until I read them and can better sort them. But this shelf is kind of mixed matched. Half of it is adult books and the other half are science fiction dystopian novels that didn't fit on my other shelves. Starting with the books that are stacked on top, I have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, Vicious by V.E. Schwab, Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk, Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, One With You by Sylvia Day, The Circle by Dave Eggers, Room by Emma Donoghue, The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, Landline by Rainbow Rowell, The Italian Teacher by Tom Rachman, Man's Search for Meaning by Victor E. Frankl, Forgive Me Leonard Peacock and The Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. Hiding in the back I have The Stranger by Albert Camus, Ignite and Volition by Lily Paradise, Attachments by Rainbow Rowell, Intuitive Eating by Evelyn Triboli and Elise Resch, Crave Why You Binge Eat and How to Stop by Cynthia M. Bullock, Life Without Ed and Goodbye Ed Hello Me by Jenny Schaefer, Dorothy Must Die, The Wicked Will Rise, and Yellow Brick War, all by Danielle Page, On the Edge of Gone by Corinne Duvis, The Legend Series by Marie Lu, New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson, Unwind by Neil Schusterman, Red Rising by Pierce Brown, More Than This by Patrick Ness, Reboot and Rebel by Amy Tintera, Taken and Frozen by Erin Bauman, and finally The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trials, and The Death Cure, all by James Dashner. So that's really it for this adult/science fiction dystopian shelf. Hopefully I'll find a better way to organize it very soon. This is just another fantasy shelf. There's no real organization to it. I do try to keep like historical fiction fantasy novels over here. The Clockwork Scarab by Colleen Gleason, Everland and Umberland by Wendy Spinelli, Passenger and Wayfarer by Alexander Bracken, The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead, The Dark Days Club by Allison Goodman, Carnivalesque by Neil Jordan, The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, The Adventurers Guild by Zach Lauren Clark and Nick Eliopoulos, Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake, Hunted by Megan Spooner, Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall, As I Descended by Robin Talley, Ivory and Bone by Julie Eschbau, Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller, The Young Elites and the Rose Society by Marie Lu, Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, Wonder Woman Warbringer by Lee Bardugo, A Game of Thrones, A Clash of Kings, and A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, The Hobbit, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yes, The Fellowship of the Ring is missing, as it has been for the past 2 years. At My Sister's Boyfriend, please give it back. This is the 75th anniversary edition of The Hobbit, and Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. And that's really it for my shelves that are sorted by genre. And we finally made it down to my bottom two shelves. Again, these are both ARC shelves. These are the older ones. So this shelf starts at May 2015 and goes until January 2017. Made You Up by Francesca Zappia, Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone, The Invasion of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, Paperweight by Meg Haston, What We Saw by Erin Hartzler, DC Trip by Sarah Benincasa, Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, Salt of the Sea by Ruta Septis, The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead, The Blood Between Us by Zach Brewer, It Wasn't Always Like This by Joy Preble, This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir, The Call by Peter O'Gillen, Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, Furthermore by Tahara Mafi, Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova, Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake, Our Chemical Hearts by Crystal Sutherland, Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, Replica by Lauren Oliver, Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven, The Amateurs by Sarah Shepard, The Midnight Star by Marie Lu, The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, My Sister Rosa by Justine Larabastiere, Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and Our Own Private Universe by Robin Talley. So that concludes this ARC shelf. And welcome to my final ARC shelf that is also the final shelf of this bookshelf tour. Starting January 2017 and going to September of 2017, I have Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken, Cara Ball by Stephanie Garber, A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. I'm not even going to attempt to fix these, but History Is All You Love Me by Adam Silvera, Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth, The Free by Lauren McClellan, The Last of August by Brittany Calavaro, Things I Should Have Known by Claire Lezebnik, The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertelli, Definitions of Indefinable Things by Whitney Taylor, But Then I Came Back by Estelle Lohr, How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake, When Dimple Met Rashid by Sonia Manon, No Good Deed by Goldie Moldovsky, Internet Famous by Danica Stone, Everything All at Once by Katrina Lino, Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody, Little and Lion by Brandy Holbert, The Hearts Be Sold by Emily Lloyd-Jones, Clicked by Tamara Ireland Stone, Girl Made of Snow and Glass by Melissa Bichardist, Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco, Spinning by Tilly Walden, You Bring the Distant Near by Mitali Perkins, Shadow House Fall by Daniel Jose Older, The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Bracken, Wild Beauty by Anna-Marie McLemore, Release by Patrick Ness, and finally, There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. And that is it. That concludes this bookshelf tour.